I've collected a lot of keyboards over the years and they're all a little bit different from each other, so today I'll be using my 3 favorites in a video to see if I can type a consistent 150 words per minute average on all of them, regardless of their build quality, price point, etc. Real quick before we get started, I do have a Nitro Type Cash giveaway currently going on. It runs till March 31st, 2024, so you don't have that much longer to enter if you're watching this around the time it's been uploaded. I'll link the instructions on how to enter that in the description of this video. Alright, enjoy the video. I am here with my first keyboard for today. This is the NPET K10. I got it for about $20 off of Amazon, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's my first actual gaming keyboard. It does use membrane switches, but they do feel pretty good. I don't use this one much anymore, and you'll see why in a bit, but I can still type decently fast on it. We'll do 2 races with each keyboard just as a heads up. This one feels very tactile if I remember correctly, but that's pretty characteristic of membrane switches. Alright, let's see how I do. Managed to get a 154.97, that's pretty good for this keyboard. I did do 2 warm-up races on my standard keyboard, just to give each keyboard a fair chance. And I will be stating the price point and materials of each keyboard just as a good way to get an idea of how nice they are. This one's pretty budget, but it feels not too bad. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot about. It didn't register when I tried to turn it off. Okay, that was a bad race. But that's because I accidentally hit caps lock. And I'll explain how I managed to get around that with my normal keyboard in a second. But yeah, overall, this keyboard feels pretty good. Nothing to really complain about. It's a cheap keyboard. It feels alright. The stabilizers are not good. But it looks okay, it feels okay, and you really don't need anything more than this for most normal uses. On to the next keyboard. Alright, my next keyboard is the ANPRO 2. I got this a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, on Amazon for about $60. I don't believe they make this keyboard anymore, but it was a pretty popular budget keyboard when I was shopping around. It has Gateron brown switches. It's using pretty standard PBT keycaps. I'll do 2 races with this one as well, and for whatever reason that didn't go into the next race. There we go. Alright. I use this keyboard for probably tens and tens of thousands of races on Nitro Type. I can vouch that it's a pretty good keyboard. That was an okay race. The accuracy was pretty bad, and I'll explain why. So these switches are really, really lightweight to press, whereas my other keyboards, they tend to be a little bit heavier, so I end up making a lot of mistakes when I type on this keyboard. I also do have some aftermarket glue keycaps on here. Those did not come with the board. This is a decent race, 149, so pretty close to 150. Again, I really like this keyboard. It's really solid, which isn't the greatest feeling for me. I kind of prefer a little bit of a cushier feel when I type on mechanical keyboards, which is where we'll get into my next one. But overall, it's a pretty good keyboard. Let's move on to the next board. Alright, and then finally on to my last keyboard for today, the Monsgeek M1. This is a custom board I built off of the Monsgeek M1 kit. I'm using Gateron Milky Yellow switches, PBT fans black on white keycaps. I am using the polycarbonate plate on this board, and it is gasket mounted, which is a nice feel because, as I mentioned earlier, I do kind of like a softer bottom out experience when I'm doing the mechanical boards. I still do like the more solid feeling ones, but this one has just a nice bit of flex when you press down on it because the board is gasket mounted. The plate is not hard screwed onto the frame. This frame is metal all the way through, so it's a very well built frame, but it'd be very rigid to type on otherwise. So the gasket mount essentially allows the plate to move down slightly when you press on anything, and it just kind of makes it a little bit softer and easier to type on over long periods of time. So when I'm doing any sort of session, it just makes my hands last a little bit longer when I'm trying to type fast. Overall, this board probably cost about $250-ish, which is why I never recommend building a custom keyboard unless it's something you're really into, like myself. But yeah, it's a really high quality keyboard and I really enjoy it. That was a good race, about what I should be getting. The accuracy could have been a little bit better, but again, this board definitely feels very premium compared to the other ones, but that makes sense because it costs a lot more than the other ones. And again, when I include the price, I'm not trying to flex or anything, it's just to simply give you a bit of a perspective of how much this costs versus how well it performs. Another decent race, about what I should be getting. But again, this keyboard feels really nice to type on, but for its price point, it should feel pretty good to type on, and I built it myself. I spent a lot of time on this. It took about a week to build this thing. Feels very nice, but again, I would only ever recommend doing something like this if it's something you really, really want to do and you have the money to spend on it. That is it for today's video. If you all enjoyed, it'd be great if you would consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. As of the time of uploading this, I'm getting really, really close to 1,000 subscribers. Getting there will be a huge deal, and I want to thank you all for all the support I've had along the way. Let me know in the comments what keyboard was your favorite. Maybe I'll do this video again with just like all the keyboards in my house or something like that. That might be cool. Let me know if you like that idea down in the comments below. And if you have any other video ideas, make sure to let me know as well. I'm always willing to listen to ideas. Sometimes my viewers come up with really, really cool video ideas. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next one.